Hey everyone, and welcome to this short video discussing good fats and bad fats, which ones to avoid and which ones give the health benefits. So there's a nice picture there from the American Heart Association on which to love, which to limit, and which to lose from your diet. Where do fats fit in a healthy diet then? So we need it. Don't try and rip it out completely out of your diet, otherwise you'll snap. All right, that's a bit of a joke, but anyway. Unfortunately, the average American diet has between 35 and 40% calories derived from fats. And the recommended amount is 20 to 35. Some articles are suggesting keeping saturated fats down to 10% of your calorie value. But how do you calculate that? Here's an example for a 2,000 calorie a day diet. So you multiply 2,000 calories by the 20%, which is the target, which equates to 400 calories, or the upper end of that percentage, which is 35%, means you can eat 700 calories per day. How many grams of fat is that? So there are 9 calories in a gram of fat, so you divide the number of calories by 9, so 400 calories for the lower percentage, divided by 9 equals 44 grams of fat per day, or the upper end is 78 grams. So as you can see, that's not a great deal if you want to maintain a healthy, balanced diet, limiting the fat. And saturated fats should be 10% maximum. So 22 grams of that 44 or 78 grams per day. So that's where fats fit. Does fat in your daily diet actually make you physically fat? Well, it does play a significant role in obesity because fat is calorie dense, okay? So there are 9 calories per gram, but carbs and protein only have 4. So there's twice as many calories in fats than there are in carbs and proteins. And alcohol has 7 calories per gram. So avoid that as much as possible as well. Now, obesity is plaguing many countries, but you can't just pin it all on fat, okay? It's part of the problem, but it's much more complicated than just overeating that simple single nutrient. But here you go. When you eat more calories, no matter where it's from, then you burn off, you will put on weight. We all understand that, but we still stuff our faces and eat really unhealthily and overeat, okay? And actually, if you exercise a lot, you might be lucky to not gain weight, but you have to think about what's going on in the inside, okay? It's not just about how you look on the outside. We all know cases of healthy friends that have suffered because they hadn't realized they'd got high cholesterol or heart problems because of arteries clogging up, etc. So there are issues on the inside. So just maintain the healthy foods that are recommended in this short presentation. And obviously there are other factors like genetics and age and lifestyle, etc., that will affect the equation. But here's why it's so easy to consume unhealthy fats: chocolates, ice cream, cookies, thick steaks, and a lot of processed things now that are being thrown at us from the supermarkets. It's all there in front of us. We know we shouldn't eat it, but they put it in such tempting places right near to the till that you pick some up on your way out as you're paying. But on top of making your waistline bulge, there are also increases in heart-related diseases, cancers, and type 2 diabetes. So they are not good, not just the fact that you'll put on weight, but the increased health risks as well. So cutting the total fat in your diet will help you shed weight, and it'll also help you live longer and healthier. Here's a quote: "There's a strong association between being overweight and many types of cancer, especially breast cancer amongst postmenopausal women and colon cancer. Eating less total fat will not directly lower your cancer risk, but it'll help you control your weight, which then in turn reduces your risk of cancer." And there's a very good article there at the bottom which shows evidence of the cancer risks in a high-fat diet. Okay, saturated, unsaturated, and trans fats, what are they? So saturated fats are fat molecules that have no double bonds between the carbon molecules because they're saturated with hydrogen molecules. They're solid at room temperature. Saturated fats occur naturally in many foods, but majority come from animal sources, including meat and dairy products. Unsaturated, liquid at room temperature, considered beneficial fats because they can improve blood cholesterol levels, ease inflammation, stabilize heart rhythms, and play a number of other beneficial roles. Predominantly found in foods from plants such as vegetable oils, nuts, and seeds. Now, the new kid on the block, trans fats or trans fatty acids created in an industrial process that adds hydrogen to liquid vegetable oils to make them more solid. The source of these trans fats is processed food. In processed food is partially hydrogenated oils. Trans fats are not good, okay? So steer clear. What's the connection between cholesterol levels and fat? Okay, the biggest influence on blood cholesterol level is the mix of fats and carbohydrates in your diet, not the amount of cholesterol you eat from food. The body uses cholesterol as the starting point to make estrogen, testosterone, vitamin D, and other vital compounds. Cholesterol in the bloodstream, specifically the bad LDL cholesterol, is what's most important in determining your health risk. So what are these LDLs? So food, fat and cholesterol can't dissolve in water or blood. Instead, the body puts it all together and packages it up in tiny protein-covered particles called lipoproteins. And they can transport a lot of fat. They mix easily with blood and flow through it. And some of these particles are big and fluffy, others are small and dense. The most important ones are the LDLs, low density lipoproteins, high density lipoproteins, and triglycerides. But in general, lower the LDL, higher the HDL intake, and the better your chances of preventing heart disease and other chronic illnesses. Benefits of fat, yes, there are some. Unsaturated fats, including polyunsaturated fatty acids and monounsaturated fats, but eat them in moderation. Replace saturated or trans fats where possible, and they can help lower your cholesterol levels and reduce your risk of heart disease. Polyunsaturated fats are contained in vegetable oils, and they actually help lower blood cholesterol levels and triglyceride levels, particularly if you're able to substitute them for saturated fats. And one of these type of fats is omega-3 fatty acids, and I'll show you shortly where they are found and the potential benefits of those omega-3 fatty acids. And the other good guy is unsaturated fats and monounsaturated fats, and they're thought to reduce the risk of heart disease. And a lot of Mediterranean countries eat a lot of these type of fats in their diets in the form of olive oil. A lot of pasta and salads that are eaten covered in olive oil or a sprinkling of olive oil, and that's credited. That's what's credited with the low levels of heart disease in those countries. Monounsaturated fats are typically liquid at room temperature but solidify when refrigerated. Heart-healthy fats are typically a good source of the antioxidant vitamin E, a nutrient often lacking in American. So where can the good fats be found? So the monounsaturated ones can be found in nuts, specifically those type of nuts. Not all nuts are made equal. Seeds, pumpkin seeds, for example, and olive, canola, and peanut oils, olives and avocados. Polyunsaturated, as we just mentioned, are the omega-3 fatty fish, salmon, trout, catfish, mackerel, and flaxseed and walnuts. Fish contains the most effective long chain type. And the American Heart Association recommends eating 2 servings of this fish each week. Plant sources are a good substitute for saturated or trans fats, not as effective as the fatty fish in decreasing cardiovascular disease. But don't think you can eat these fish fat fried. Just a sprinkling of olive oil over them will make them really, really tasty. So here's some suggestions. Select dairy products where they're skimmed or low fats. Experiment with light and reduced fat salad dressings. Replace fattier sauces with vinegars, mustards, and lemon juice. Try to use unsaturated liquid oils. And choose a diet rich in whole grains, fruits, and vegetables. It's not difficult, but we make it difficult. Try a vegetarian meal with plenty of beans. Okay, I really hope you have enjoyed. That is almost the end, apart from just to reiterate 10 really bad foods that we should avoid. Those that text shouldn't have come up just yet, but obviously I've got the presentation set up incorrectly with that one, and I'll just reiterate the really bad ones. Sugary drinks, avoid at all costs. Pizza, you can make some healthy ones at home, but steer clear of processed cheeses. White bread, no, go for wholemeal bread. Pastries, cookies, and cakes, yes, they taste wonderful, but please stay away. Processed meats, if it comes out of a packet, it's not good for you. French fries and chips, yes, they are the good old staple of the McDonald's Happy Meals, but they are really bad. Industrial vegetable oils, just the word industrial makes them sound horrendous, doesn't it? So steer clear of those and aim for the extra virgin olive oils when adding to food. Processed cheeses, horrendous, and processed again means that they are not good. Go for natural cheeses. Fruit juices, much like the sugary drinks, really have massive amounts of sugar in them and hardly any fruit. So there should be a disclaimer on those to say they're not actually fruit juices unless they contain a certain percentage of fruit. And finally, good old margarine that's been around for many, many years, but there is no substitute for butter. And either way, instead of margarine or butter, try spreading avocado on your food. So that's the end, and I hope you really enjoyed that, and I'd love to hear back from you as to which changes you're making with your diet.